Hey, welcome to Bass Day Fishing. Today we are not on the lake fishing. What we're going to do is pour some baits. Just got an order from a new subscriber to my channel, David B. He ordered some baits. I was missing one. I'm missing the Reaper bait in his order, so I'm going to make that today. I'm going to take you guys with me through the process of injection pouring a baits that you can use when you're out there fishing. If you don't want to hand pour your own baits, come to bassdag.com and buy my baits. In fact, let's take a look at my wall right here. So as you can see, I got all kinds of baits here. Pretty much anything you would need, especially for finesse type fishing, but I've also got some big baits as well. All right, so today, things you're gonna need to start with. We're gonna start with protective gloves. Every time I make one of these bait making videos, I go over the protective stuff because that's probably the most important thing you're gonna do when you make baits. So you need the gloves. You want the face masks. This is gonna protect you from all those nasty fumes that you're gonna get. I'm not gonna wear this today because I'm talking you through the process, but almost every other time I'd be wearing this. You don't want to breathe this stuff in. It's pretty nasty. It smells bad, and who knows what that stuff does to your insides. Don't make baits without the face mask. You're gonna need molds. Now I'm gonna be using two different molds today. I sell two types of Reaper baits. I sell the Renegade Reaper and I sell the Grim Reaper. So I'm gonna pour them both at the same time. I'm gonna mix up some green pumpkin and I'm gonna use that to make both of these types of Reapers. So follow along. I'm gonna make Grim Reapers and Renegade Reapers today. Now, if it looks like I'm sweating today, I am. It is 104 degrees out here. I'm in my garage. I'm gonna get the fan going once I start cooking the plastisol. You wanna blow that stuff out. You wanna keep your garage door open if you're pouring in the garage. You want a lot of ventilation. You want that stuff to be able to blow out. Problem is, it is cooking in here. So this is gonna be the only mold I pour today. It is way too hot. You're gonna need an injector. Here's my injector. You got the top here that goes on. You put this into your cup to suck up the plastic after you cook it, and then you inject it into the mold. You'll see that in just a moment. Next, you're gonna need the plastisol. Plastisol comes in a giant container like this. It comes in different strengths. You got soft, medium, hard, depending on what you want your baits to do. This is medium plastisol here, but what that means is you got a certain level of hardener in the bottom. You gotta mix that into the plastisol. So you gotta shake it vigorously. I'm not gonna do that on camera. Just trust me, I'm shaking it up really good right now. All right, I lied, I'm putting you on the camera. Okay, I'm gonna use a half a cup of plastisol. My recipes mostly call for a half a cup of plastisol. You wanna keep track of colors. If you make a color you really like, you wanna repeat it. So make sure you're writing down how much colorant how many drops of colorant you're using. I use 1/8 of a teaspoon, 1/16 of a teaspoon, whatever. You wanna make sure you know how much of the flake you're putting in as well. So keep track of that stuff. This is my green pumpkin recipe that I'm gonna be making today. So the first thing I wanna do is get a half a cup of plastisol. All right, this right here is my recipe book. It's just a black notebook that I keep, and inside of it I keep track of everything. So anytime I make a new recipe for a color, I put it in here. Today's the green pumpkin. I've got them pretty much memorized, but I always double check with my notebook because I wanna make sure I'm making it exactly like I did last time and every time I make this bait. Shake up your colorants as well. You want to make sure they're nice and mixed. So as you can see, you're not using a lot of colorant. You're using just like 1 or 2 drops of each color, depending on what it is you're trying to make. After I mix that up, it's going to come out to the green pumpkin that I like. Throw that in the microwave. I'm putting it in for 2 minutes the first time. I'm gonna mix it up again and throw it in for another 30 seconds or so. Then it's time for me to add my flake. I don't put the flake in until after I've cooked it. So I like it to be already in its liquid plastic form. Now the flake comes in all kinds of colors. I buy this stuff from Lurecraft. I'm sure there's other places you can buy it as well. It comes in different sizes. For this particular recipe, I'm using .035 black flake. So as soon as that's cooked up, I'm gonna add this in there. Another thing that's real important is you want to make sure you're putting the exact same amount of flake in each time. So I use these little measuring spoons, and I always add the exact amount of flake that I do every time. I want it to be consistent with every bait I've ever made or ever will make. So when you buy green pumpkin from me, you know it's the same every time. Okay, the sound's about to get bad because I am going to turn on the fan. I want to start blowing the fumes out of the garage. So forgive the sound at this point. Hopefully that's not too bad, we'll see. Okay, you can see now the color's already starting to change to the green pumpkin that I like. I'm going to mix that up pretty good here. Now keep in mind, this stuff is lava hot. You don't want this to touch your skin. You don't want it anywhere except in this cup and then inject it into your bait. This stuff will burn your skin. I throw it in for another 30 seconds to a minute. 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes is usually plenty. Now once you reheat this stuff, you don't go that long. I'm going to reheat it for 30 seconds to a minute once I've already cooked it once. Okay, this stuff stinks. I shouldn't be breathing it in. I should be wearing that face mask. And I would be if I wasn't making a video. Alright, it's time for me to add my flake. Black flake. Drop it on in there. Mix it up good. Alright, so the plastisol's ready to go. You take your injector, drop it on in there, suck it up. And then I inject it into my molds. Alright, now this stuff, like I said, it's lava hot, so don't touch that stuff until it's had a chance to cool down. Doesn't take it real long though. All of this is reusable. So I'm going to take my injector, squeeze out the extra, let that stuff harden up a bit. The stuff that was still in my spoon, I let that stuff harden up. Once it's cooled down, it takes a couple minutes, you're going to pick it up and put it right back in the pot to remelt. Okay, after it's been sitting in your mold for a little bit, you're ready to take it out. So you unscrew it. Some of your molds are going to need clamps if they don't have the built-in screws. So you just clamp them shut. Make sure you clamp them real tight. Okay, I'm pulling out my Grim Reapers. There's a Grim Reaper right there. Hopefully that camera will focus in on it. Green pumpkin. I throw it in the water to let it cool off. This particular mold, and then the stuff that was in the sprue, that goes right back in your pot as well, so that's all reusable. That's basically it. I mean, you're basically done at this point. I'm going to get you one of each here to look at. I use a towel to dry them off. If you have excess like these guys get, a little bit of a tip. I'm going to pull that off with my thumbnail, and that gives you my final bait right there. Any extra plastic sitting on the sides, I'm going to pick that off. So what you got now is you've got the Renegade Reaper right here. You've got the Grim Reaper right here. I'll hold them side by side. You got that backwards. You got the Renegade Reaper right here. You got the Grim Reaper right here. So side by side, see what they look like. These are both lethal finesse baits right here. I drop shot them. There's other ways to fish them, but they're just lethal. It's always fun catching fish on baits you've made yourself. I love it. It's a blast. But if you don't want to make your own baits, basssteak.com. Take a look. Buy some of my baits. They're home poured. I test every single color and every single bait I make sure they do catch fish. They're awesome fish catchers out here in Castaic in California. I'm sure they're going to work in your lakes as well. All right, thanks for coming along today on Bass Steak Fishing. I'll see you next time.